In a post-apocalyptic world where most of the world's resources have been lost to radiation, Anne Burden lives a solitary life on her family's farm. Her only companion is her loyal dog Pharaoh, and their days are spent in a routine of gathering food and setting traps for stray animals. One fateful day, Anne comes across a man named John, and her curiosity prompts her to follow him. Eventually, they reach a nearby waterfall where John Bates himself is present. However, Anne knows that the water is contaminated and warns John to get out of it immediately. To her surprise, instead of welcoming her, John points a gun at her and fires it elsewhere, assuming she poses a threat. Fortunately, John eventually listens to Anne's plea and retreats from the water. The contaminated water quickly takes its toll on him, leaving him weak and in need of medicine. With Anne's help, John regains his strength after receiving an injection of medicine. Not only does Anne rinse off the remaining contamination, but she also opens her home to him. While John was laboring under his illness, Anne was a constant presence by his side, tending to his needs with unwavering dedication. Despite the passage of time, John's condition did not show signs of improvement, causing Anne to worry as each day passed. Tucked in the worn yet comforting sheets of his bed, John's fitful sleep was interrupted by haunting nightmares that unsettled Anne deeply. Driven by compassion and genuine concern, Anne hurried to his bedside, her gentle touch bringing a fleeting sense of peace to his troubled slumber. Standing watch over him as he slept, Anne couldn't help but feel a swell of emotions, a mix of sympathy and a growing attachment to the man who had found his way into her simple life. As the days turned into weeks, a subtle shift occurred in John's recovery journey. His once declining health now showed gradual improvement, a welcome change that buoyed Anne's spirits. Together, they built a routine filled with meaningful conversations about their lives before the world succumbed to chaos, each tale shared adding new layers to their deepening bond. Anne, opening up her heart, revealed the void left by her missing family, particularly her brother, a connection that tugged at John's empathetic soul. Drawing from his experiences as a research engineer with a keen eye for patterns, John theorized about the unique protective qualities of Anne's farm. His insights into the farm's natural shielding against harmful radiation brought a newfound sense of security to their home, a haven amidst the desolate landscape outside. Anne, grateful for John's analytical mind and practical expertise, absorbed his knowledge eagerly, learning how to navigate the challenges of their post-apocalyptic world with renewed determination. With a newfound sense of purpose, John ventured outside the confines of their dwelling, eager to contribute to Anne's efforts in sustaining their meager existence. His discovery of the unused tractor and subsequent revival of the machine symbolized a reawakening of hope and resourcefulness in their shared journey. Guided by John's guidance, Anne overcame the obstacle of fuel scarcity, their joint efforts resulting in a bountiful expansion of their winter gardens, a tangible testament to their growing partnership. United by their shared struggles and close proximity, John and Anne found solace in their companionship, a refuge from the harsh realities of their world. By the tranquil waters of the pond, they savored simple pleasures together, relishing the taste of freshly caught fish and the warmth of shared moments. The memories of past hardships, such as the bitter winter that once threatened Anne's survival, faded in light of their evolving bond, a beacon of resilience and connection in a landscape marked by loss and uncertainty. Recognizing the need for a reliable power source, John proposes a plan to generate hydroelectric power from a nearby waterfall. He suggests constructing a water wheel from the planks and beams of the local church. However, this proposal unsettles Anne as the church holds deep sentimental value for her. Her father, a preacher, built the church and delivered sermons there every Sunday. Despite John's persuasion, Anne's discomfort leads him to abandon the project. In the following days, they work together on the farm, preparing for long-term habitation and stocking up for the winter. Their relationship deepens, but it's not without its tensions. Differences in their work ethic and spiritual beliefs occasionally cause friction. One day, Anne finds John drunk in an abandoned mini-mart, surrounded by empty beer bottles. Despite his mockery of her for consuming all the sweet stuff but leaving the beers untouched, Anne helps him get home to rest. John's drunken behavior escalates when Anne tries to help him out of his dirty clothes. He becomes agitated, shouting at her and insisting he doesn't need her help. His outburst frightens Anne, who has never encountered such behavior before. She leaves the room shaken. The next morning, John offers a sincere apology, which Anne accepts. They continue to work together as if the incident never happened. One evening, Anne surprises John with a bottle of wine. They share a few glasses, become tipsy, and end up dancing together in the living room. The moment gradually becomes intimate, leading to their first kiss. They head upstairs on the verge of deepening their relationship. However, John hesitates, believing that intimacy will change their dynamic. He admits his feelings for Anne, but suggests they need more time to get to know each other better before sharing a bed. Despite the challenges, they continue to grow closer, navigating their survival in the post-apocalyptic world. The following day, Anne is strolling around her farm when she observes subtle changes in the usual paths. Her dog Pharaoh suddenly starts running, leading her to a stranger named Caleb. He has been wandering for days in search of food and asks Anne for water. John, wary of the newcomer, initially resists welcoming him. However, Anne's compassionate nature prevails, and she convinces John to let Caleb stay. They all gather for a meal, during which they share their survival stories. John recounts a heart-wrenching tale of a frail teenager he found and tried to help, but ultimately had to grant the boy's wish to end his suffering. Caleb shares his own harrowing experience of witnessing men resort to violence due to extreme conditions in the mine where he was trapped. After dinner, Anne shows Caleb around the house, which unsettles John. He cautions Anne about the potential danger Caleb might pose, given their limited knowledge about him. During their discussion, it's revealed that the boy John Mercy killed was Anne's lost brother. The next day, John and Caleb go turkey hunting. During their walk, Caleb highlights his spiritual bond with Anne and playfully suggests a bet for her affection, which John disapproves of. They also visit the nearby waterfall, where John explains his abandoned plan for a water wheel project. At dinner, Caleb brings up the water wheel project, causing discomfort for John. Despite his initial reluctance, John agrees to dismantle the church for materials. The following day, they begin work on the water wheel project, using wood from the church. As they work, Caleb and Anne share moments of flirtation, stirring feelings of jealousy in John. As the project advances, so does the intimacy between Caleb and Anne. After the demolition, Caleb and Anne walk in the woods and end up in the nearby cave. They talk about their shared faith in the Christian religion, claiming that it is the only thing that gets them going. As they arrive back on site, John has already made a lot of progress in constructing the water wheel. The simple structure gives them more hope that life in this post-apocalyptic world could improve in the simplest ways. Seeing the attraction between Anne and Caleb, John awkwardly gives her consent to be in a relationship with Caleb. When she defends herself, John makes a discriminating remark and says that he will not stand in her way of exploring with someone else. His words of unsolicited advice throw her off, making her walk out of the room. All three of them spend the next few days constructing the water wheel around the contaminated waterfall. After remarkable progress, they hold a celebratory dinner as a big break from their accomplishment. After a couple of drinks, they decide to plunge into the pond, where they continue to have fun. When it becomes too cold, they decide to return to the house and end the night. Not long after, John tearfully expresses his love for Anne, which she finds difficult to believe. She holds hands with the intoxicated John on the way home and guides him as he passes out in bed. Anne hears Caleb still awake in his room from the hallway, so she walks toward it, hoping that he would notice. Caleb expectantly opens the door and welcomes her inside before they make love. After days of exchanging flirty looks, at daybreak, the tension grows in the once peaceful household because of the unofficial love triangle. As Caleb makes his way to the porch to sit with Anne, John immediately gets an idea of what happened the night before. Later, John and Caleb finish the water wheel structure and move the flume into place above the waterfall. While John is in charge of keeping the ropes in place, Caleb does the riskier job of securing the flume, and the project turns out well, making them smile and forget their rivalry for a moment. While cramped in hazmat suits, Caleb slips during the rope-assisted climb, but John pulls him up just in time. As he gathers the ropes for safekeeping, Caleb slips on the mossy surface again, but John pulls him again. However, John stops the pull, and the two men intently lock eyes, while Caleb still teeters on the edge of the cliff. Subsequently, John returns alone to the house, where he takes Anne by surprise with an apology for making their relationship unclear, but shortly after, John cuts her off in the middle of the conversation and says that Caleb decided to leave and travel south. Anne is taken aback, but she does not waste any second and runs outside. After days of dwelling on Caleb's sudden disappearance, Anne finds that the electricity in the house has been restored. She happily runs outside and finds her beloved organ in the barn, where she plays with him. Shortly after, John enters and listens while clapping his hands for her. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.